Welcome students to Flamenco dance lessons. Thank you so much for joining me. Today we're going to cover 6 sound flamenco footwork patterns. These are crucial to your development as a dancer overall, and they're great for using in putting together your footwork sections called escobillas. Today we're going to start with toe heel, jab heel, jab heel, toe heel, jab heel, brush heel, and toe heel, jab heel, toe heel. Enjoy. So we're going to go over very slowly 3 different types of 6 sound footwork patterns, and they all begin with toe heel jab, but from there's some variation. I'm going to run them very slowly. Then we're going to learn what they sound like when you do 1 sound per beat, 2 sounds per beat, and 3 sounds per beat to produce either singlets, duplets, triplets, and we can even do quadruplets, so I'll get into that as well. So first of all, you want to make sure, start with your feet pretty close together. You never want to have too wide a base when you're doing flamenco footwork, unless you're doing something avant-garde or kind of different. But for the purposes of just drilling your footwork patterns, you're always going to want to have a nice, pretty close base. Your feet don't have to be squeezed together, but you want to at least have a nice small base. 6 sound patterns always begin with toe heel jab, as I mentioned, so that is toe heel jab, or planta tacón tacón. Planta, tacón, tacón, right? From there, we're going to do our very first pattern, which is the simplest, which is planta, tacón, 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 tacón. Planta, tacón, 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 tacón. And you end on the supporting heel. So you go bam, 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 bam. Then to the right side. Sequence. Okay. So that is basically 2 jabs. You do toe heel, jab, jab, right? Toe heel, jab, jab, then toe heel, jab, jab, with supporting heels in between. So that's going to be our first pattern. Second pattern is toe heel, jab, heel, toe, I believe. Toe, heel, jab, heel, toe, heel. Right? Other side. Again. Done very slowly. In sequence, one side and the other. And then finally, our third pattern is going to be a brush heel pattern. So you do the same toe heel jab. So you see how I brought my toe. It's called a brush when you do this. You bring the foot back and you tap the foot down. That's a brush. Brush back. So I go toe, heel. 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So those are your 3 patterns. Now, what can you do with them? Well, first of all, drill them. Especially the ones when you do what I just did now, which is slower. You're going to have to spend a lot more time not only balancing on one foot, but also keeping that support heel going strong while your other foot is articulating. For the first pattern, it's not as much of a problem because you're basically balancing between your 2 feet as you put your jabs down. But when you start to get into moving the foot and making different articulations is when you're going to need to really make sure you're solid into your hip and you're really strong with your supporting heel. So let's take the first pattern, the toe heel, jab heel, jab heel. We're going to do it on the beat. We're going to do 2 sounds per beat. We're going to do 3 sounds per beat. On the beat, if we're thinking in 12s, since we're going, or let's just even think in 3s. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So that's 1 sound per beat, right? If you're counting in 3s. Every sound, 1 beat. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and so on. If you're doing duplets, you would go 2 sounds per beat. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3. 3 sounds per beat would be 1 and 2. I'm sorry, 1 and 2 and 3. 1 and 2 and 3. That was all wrong. Take 2. So now when you're talking about actually using the steps to make some rhythms, you can do 1 sound per beat, 2 sounds per beat, or 3 sounds per beat. Singlets, duplets, or triplets. So what we're going to do first are singles. If we're counting in 12 like a bulletia, we're going 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Doing the same pattern, but doing 2 sounds per beat, it's going to be going 12 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and so forth. For example, 12 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 9 and 10 and 11 and 12 and 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, 6 and 7 and 8 and 9 and 10 and 11 and. Triplets would be 3 sounds per beat, in which case you're doing 12 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 5 and a 6 and a 7 and 8 and a 9, 10 and 11 and 12. So you see, these are all just different ways to use the same pattern to make different sounds, different, even different swings, different soniquetes as they say in flamenco. Let's try the toe heel. So you're going to do 12 and, I'm sorry, just 1 per beat. 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 2 sounds per beat. 12 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, 6 and 7 and 8 and 9 and 10 and 11. Right? Triplets would sound like 12 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 5 and a 6 and a 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so the third sound, the third pattern rather, brush heel. We're going 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 2 sounds per beat would sound like 12 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, 6 and 7 and 8 and 9 and 10 and 11 and 12. Back to the other side. Finally, triplets. 3 sounds per beat. 12 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 5 and a 6 and a 7 and 8 and a 9, 10 and 11 and 12. Ta-ka-ta, ta-ka-ta-ta. So each one of those is very useful. I would highly recommend practicing all of those. Now, I would also recommend practicing them to the same tempo. So if I start 12, 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, I go 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, then duple 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Back down. Now let's keep it here, but switch to the second pattern. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 duples. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 triple. Back down. Back down to singles. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Finally, third pattern with the brush, the heel brush. 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 4, 5, and 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Back down. Back to 12. So there you have it. It's a pretty simple idea. I would recommend practicing those. Use a metronome. Put on a Flamenco metronome specifically. Like Dr. Compas is a great app you can get on your iPhone or on your Android phone. And you'll start to see how practical these kinds of steps are. You can mix and match them. You can put them together with other steps. And you can get a lot of sounds without a lot of work. Essentially, you're just kind of sitting on into one heel and letting that keep kind of like a counter time while the other foot is doing all the articulation. It's a very nice little tool to have. And thank you so much for joining me today. All the best to you. So those were 6 sound footwork flamenco patterns. I hope you've enjoyed them. I hope you will implement them in your escobillas, and I hope you practice. They're great patterns to improve your speed, your rhythm, and your strength in your footwork.